you were gonna be looking at a scenario where the Arger Empire lost the Arger coalition. This is the Arger Empire, and these are the coalition members. So if you're wondering, and the Arger Empire won, increasing them to this size. But what if they lost? Well, first we must find out how the Arger Empire won. In the history of the Arger Empire, they used to be just a small state like this. But after the reign of King Jonathan the First, they rapidly expanded with their military might, um, turning them into a major nation. These three nations did not want to allow that. So, starting off with this nation, they declared war on the Arger Empire to stop it, then called these two other nations to it. Now, the Arger Empire was surrounded, so how did they even win this? Well, to answer that question, they launched an attack on the kingdom of Poles. Nope, not Poles, Poles, yes. Uh, and they had three major battles here. The Arger Empire won all three battles, which destroyed the army groups of the kingdom of Poles. So, hence why they managed to capitulate them very quickly. Because, and these guys immediately surrendered. Hence why leaving them with this borders. Now, it was just, remember that happened in the span of like 2 months and 2 days, which was a very quick victory for the Arger Empire. So then, these guys did a joint attack on the Arger Empire, actually securing some gains. But the Arger Empire had a successful counterattack over here, which broke the defenses here and allowed to split them up. Alright, so now the front lines are looking a bit like this. Also ignore the background noise. Alright, so now these guys are pretty well defended and pretty equal to these guys. But these guys are weaker than these guys, than the Arger Empire. Uh, the clan, the clan Kiosk Republic. So these guys just did a standoff. They just stared at each other, while the Arger Empire pushed into and split the clan Kiosk Republic into two, and fully capitulated the southern area, while the northern area held pretty well. But again, they were split into two, and they had to surrender. Now that's two down. It was just these guys left. Now, after seeing both of their allies just surrender, um, they still kept fighting. But the morals, the morale of the Arger Empire had increased ever since the start of the war, because had managed to defeat two nations. Oh wait a minute. They had managed to defeat two nations giving them the morale they needed. While the Jor Jorhavis Republic, they just lost two of their allies. So the morale's been pretty bad. Plus, since the attack here had failed, um, that's also a double morale loss. So they had decided to just surrender some territories. Hence why they got the lightest piece out of the three coalition members. Alright, now let's explore the scenario where what if they had lost? Alright, so the coalition war starts as usual. Now, the army of the Kingdom of Polis never really stood a chance against the Bronze Guard of the Arger Empire. So, instead, we could delay the coalition by a few months to strengthen the bond of these three nations so that these guys could support them in the three battles. Even if they just won one battle, let's say this one here, they could still live another day. So, and you if but then if they just only just won one battle, uh the morale would be pretty low. So instead, they would capitulate just like normal. But they but if they survived an extended amount of time, there could be a chance that this attack could have lasted longer, and maybe the counterattack of the Arger Empire could have failed and didn't split up the two nations, which they could encircle the army group of Jonathan the First and completely obliterate and weaken their military might. Now remember, like this part is already part of the Arger Empire. So with the front lines looking something like this, um, if these guys had won a battle, the Arger Empire would also have a weaker army, with with basically having a 2v1, and these guys now stronger than these guys because these guys were weakened. Now an attack could succeed, destroying the Arger Empire. Now let us see what would happen. Well, this was the canonical treaty, but this time the Arger Empire lost, so the claims of these nations would probably. These guys mainly joined the coalition for their claimed lands on the Arger Empire. These guys joined the coalition to stop Arger expansion. So, they would still take a bit of land. They would still a bit of land. But with these two having a different goal than this one, they would have an agreement to also create two vassal states here. Like here. And split the Arger Empire into multiple kingdoms. allowing the Arger Empire to collapse essentially, leaving them with just this small bit. Now, in the future wars, the Arger Empire wouldn't be so strong and dominate most wars that they fought. And with and and with these guys winning, tension would increase between these guys for more control. Like in Polar and the I forgot what their names were, but yeah, they would go against each other, which is also what happened for the Coster War, where these guys fought against these guys and these guys for the claims over this lake, and these guys won, which means that wait add oh no, all right, that was a problem. Anyways, um, so these two splitting up would most likely happen in this timeline. And since a weekend this fought against this and a weekend this and still won, these two stronger versions of these two would potentially fight against each other, and these guys would most likely win compared to these guys. And since these guys also have territorial claims over here, they could also join in against them. And since these guys primarily hate these guys, because although these guys were the ones to start the coalition war, these guys were the ones who led the coalition war. So they could also join in against them with their former enemies, which would basically mean, in in a shorter way, these guys would be cooked. All right. Thank you for watching. This was a new idea that formed in my head recently. So yeah. See you next time, and see you next time on this world. And goodbye.